YouTube, what's happening, man? We back with another video. It's your boy, Rowdy. And I'm going to talk to y'all real quick about Sister Angel Reese. Come up here, Sister Angel Reese. We're going to talk about, what we got going on. The reason why we talking about her actually is because Charleston White was on the podcast with Jeff T. It's called the 520 Club Club 520 podcast, however it's phrased, you know what I'm saying? But, Charleston White, first of all, is one of the worst people if you are trying to be a mainstream type of podcast, simply because everything that he says is outlandish, disgusting, crazy, but there are things within all of that can be justified. And it looks and sounds as though he had a lot of drink in him. And you know that liquid courage can get a lot of information that you might have been sitting on, depending on whoever, pokes it out of you. They might be able to get the right information to kind of say the craziest things. Please excuse the pops. Those are fireworks. Ain't nothing going on, I promise. Like I'm saying, my opinion about the whole situation surrounding Angel Reese is this. I feel like she puts a lot of, her time and energy, me being just a regular person. This is my opinion. But anyway, she puts a lot of time and energy into trying to be the most beautiful, social individual, as opposed to, because she even has her own podcast. Again, I don't play ball in any magnitude like that. I don't know the WNBA schedule and what kind of time they may have on their hands. But if I look at what she's got going on versus what Caitlin Clark has got going on, Caitlin Clark looks like she's a little bit more focused on basketball. And again, there are other WNBA players, but these are the two, because especially when they came out, that college basketball game really kind of emerged, a new following for, female basketball. But anyway, if you look at what these two have going on and you compare them, one is focused on basketball, one is focused on being popular. So the problem I have is, Angel Reese is putting so much stock in trying to be this little baddie basketball player, but she's not really putting enough of that energy on the court. And, in my opinion, even, the beginning of her rookie season and this past season, she has the making to be a legend. Period. In the story. Her stats speak for themselves. So because of that, in her play, she'll be good. But the problem is, who's to say that she's going to be playing even that long if she tries to appease these people who, one, don't really care, and then she's, like I said, she's kind of out there. Now, how out there is to be, can be kind of projective. But, she does like to go viral. She does like a lot of attention, and not regular attention. She's a bit of an attention-seeking individual. So because of that, she's always trying to be on the forefront, trying to always be around these guys. Like I said, she has her podcast. And I feel like at some point, her game is going to diminish. Women don't have the athletic, longevity that men have. So because of that, I don't see her if she continues on this track, she could end up being like the Zion Williamson of WNBA basketball, thus meaning she'll have all of this upside and potential. But the question is, will she live up to it, or will she try to be all up in the social media sphere? But anyway, we're going to get into what Charleston White has said about her, which is egregious and super duper controversial. But that's what everybody's talking about, so we're going to get into it real quick. All right, without further ado, here we go.
That conversation, because I think it's stupid between the better players.
I think Angel Reese want to sell pussy. I think Angel Reese really don't want to play basketball. I think she want to sell pussy.
Nah. She trying to look, Chuck.
She coming out too sexual.
Dub, nah, I ain't going to let you do that one.
You ain't?
She's trying to, I'm trying to make.
You see, Jeff, I don't know who he talking to, but it looked like he talking to somebody like, who let this Negro on? He already on that phone. I don't believe that's a good podcast etiquette, but you see that he might be trying to figure something out. But again, he's on his phone. He's, and the other guys pushing back on Charleston. Again, like I said, it is egregious and it is super controversial. But to say what he's saying to a lesser degree, is she trying to be out there seeking attention as opposed to getting the attention by playing basketball because she's a basketball player? Yes. And that's no different, like I just said, about Zion Williamson and DeAndre Ayton. A lot of these guys are dealing with women who do what he just said. So, again, if you look at the potential that Zion Williamson has, especially now that he's kind of losing a little bit of weight, that potential is super duper. He is higher than the ceiling. Just like Angel Reese, her potential is higher than the ceiling. But if we really compare them, it's really just being out there and looking for attention's hitting Zion harder, 1 and 2, because he obviously does not take good care of his body, and he does whatever he wants to do with these women, and that is really taking a toll on his NBA career. Now, again, there's not as many games in the WNBA. They don't have to, do as much. It's not as demanding. And Angel Reese she looks like a woman amongst girls when she's playing, especially depending on the team. So she can kind of get away with doing certain things, but she's not, again, putting enough effort on the court, in my opinion. If you look at her counterpart in Caitlin Clark.
I'm trying to have us at the WNBA All-Star.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's your take.
Now, B.A. don't never defend the WNBA, so for him to do this, I love this.
I think she's just trying to make sure she don't look like a dude. Like she's trying to keep it like I'm
She's trying to brand outside of basketball.
Yeah, like I'm a woman. I like men.
She tapping into that whole side. She tapping into that whole side of it.
No, she not. It's so many. It's a WNBA player that look like me and you. So she's trying to make it seem like
more girly.
Yeah,
she's trying to make it more like you can still be attracted to.
You ain't got to be left-handed to play the W. Basically, what she's saying.
It's a Charleston White and a BN on the FIFA right there.
Ooh,
she's trying to switch the narrative, bro.
I'll take that, dude.
And they dress it like this. So.
I'll take that. But I still think she need to do OnlyFans, like Shaq said. She need to dunk in her panties.
So we can sit there and laugh all we want at Angel Reese, but Liz Cambage, if we knew who was in this NBA and WNBA, she, I believe, played in the WNBA, and she herself has an OnlyFans. I don't know if she's selling booty on there or if she's trying to do what Charleston White is talking about, but she does model and she does show her behind on her Instagram, and she does have an OnlyFans. So what he's saying about Angel Reese, if she decides she wants to go on that track, is not super duper far-fetched. It's just the idea of who he's talking about, the fact that he's saying what he's saying, and at the end of the day, it can be misconstrued and looked at because of the words he is using. And again, this is Charleston White, so 9 times out of 10, what he says is going to be out of bounds because of how he says it. But the truth of the matter is, there is truth to it. She does look to seek attention, and that is a problem.
Shaq told her she needed to go dunk in her panties. I'm with
Shaq didn't say that. He was out of
Shaq
pocket.
is wild for saying that.
Y'all stop.
I'm with you, Shaq. I'm with you. Some lace panties. Not no boy shorts. I'm with you, Shaq.
Charleston said, not the boy short?
No, dunk in some panties with no bra on. Watch what them numbers do. That's how you sell tickets.
Nah, we don't need that. That's why we got Caitlin. Caitlin keeping it cool.
Yeah, Caitlin keeping it cool.
You know what I mean? It's girls that look like Caitlin that are straight. She's trying to say, hey, I have a man. You know what I mean? Push that narrative.
Yeah, y'all call it. That's
Angel Reese is trying to push some sex appeal to the WNBA. Like we
they
ain't all
still
dressing
sucking
like
pussy
niggas.
when they on the road. Yeah, most of them hoes sucking pussy on the road.
What mass majority of them are for sure.
Yeah, nigga, they putting pressure on the ones that ain't.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
That is true. Unspoken about things.
They probably suck pussy till your hair catch on fire. Who wouldn't want their head smoking? Yeah, man, I make my woman quit the NBA. Shit, man.
Hey, you know what's funny? I thought about Home Alone when his hair was on fire. He just
Yeah,
on
man.
fire.
It's a lot of jellyfish in the WNBA.
It ain't nothing wrong with it.
Jellyfish.
What else happened this year, man? Do not let the
Shout out to the WNBA, man. All-Star game coming soon. We trying to tap in. We need it back. It's in Nap, too. You got to pull back up the W All-Star game,
Man,
man.
you can go sit down and talk to him about
Man,
that.
I ain't finna watch no hoes play no basketball.
Come on, man. Oh, we got to go.
I ain't finna watch no hoes play no basketball.
It's
Oh,
getting
Yeah,
better.
this
They
ain't got
dunking
nothing
the
to do
shit.
with the podcast. They can't dunk. Yeah, can't none of them jump from the
They
field,
are
man.
dunking now, though. It's a couple of
telling
them. You gotta watch it, bro.
You gotta
They-
tap
For real,
in.
it's
Like
getting
you know
better.
who Juju Watkins
Man,
is?
we need an OnlyFans WNBA
Oh,
game.
no.
All right. Again, it looks like he got a little bit of drink in him, so he gonna say what he want to say. And again, it's Charleston. You know, Mr. Say and do what he want to do. Mr. I'm gonna say this because y'all ain't heard me when I said it politically correct, so I'm gonna say it politically incorrect. And again, now you see most times you see why he gets all of this virality is because he's not against or afraid of saying the most craziest, outlandish, daggone hurtful things. Because this, if you're looking at it objectively, can be very hurtful. If I'm Angel Reese, that this man would say that, especially if that's not my intent. Even if that was my intent, why would you say that about me? You don't know me. You know what I'm saying? So again, the problem that I pointed out, you know, that he's saying in a much lesser degree is the fact that she is looking for attention as opposed to trying to put her effort into being on the court. There's no reason why, especially with her athletic ability, why she ain't doing a little bit more, you know, why she's not dominating a little bit more. But again, if you look at her numbers, she is on track to be a legend in the WNBA. So even with what I just said, that does not matter. She can continue on the track that she's on right now. And again, she will be able to say, okay, I did X, Y, Z. As long as she has a good enough career where it is long enough where she can be a WNBA legend, she will be one. She's borderline unstoppable. But there's always somebody that can stop you, which is why I said she could be doing more. But again, that's me just speaking objectively. So at the end of the day, if she's getting her points and they're winning games, it is what it is. The problem that I wanted to also add is Charleston also went a little too far with how he was talking about women objectively and objectifying them. The WNBA is one of those leagues, well, most sports are heavily consumed by men. Most women aren't interested in sports. They're not interested in the athletes. So because of that, the WNBA is one of those sports that suffers because men aren't interested, then nobody is going to watch. Women are more interested in watching Real Wives of Atlanta or, you know, Kim Kardashian and all of that nonsense. You know, drama, you know, Law and Order, SVU, and all that crazy stuff, as opposed to watching women who put their blood, sweat, and tears into things like the basketball, tennis, and, you know, things like that. They're not watching that stuff. Men heavily consume that. So one point that Charleston was making again was he was objectifying them, but he was saying men would want to see women like, you know, half naked doing these things. And again, if there was a possibility, there are a lot of men there are more perverts that are men, or there are a lot of perverts that are men that wouldn't necessarily disagree with that. However, in order for there to be brands and things like that, obviously that can't be a thing that happens. So, of course, that is outlandish. But, you know, to kind of bring everything together, Charleston is one of the last people that you want to have on your podcast if you want to go and have any kind of virality, because especially if you're going to give him alcohol, he is liable to say something that could derail your entire podcast. And from the looks of it, because people don't understand the podcast in its entirety, they just understand what Charleston said. And a lot of times this could be his introduction to a lot of people. They might not know him because he's in a certain demographic, a certain point or part of NBA, or excuse me, Charleston White is in a certain part of the internet where a lot of freaky, toxic, crazy, disgusting degradation to black people and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff happens. He's, in these pop the balloons or, swipe right, all that mess. So a lot of people who want to see black people, I guess, do the craziest of things, he's a part of that. So there are people who don't watch that and consume that kind of content who watch Jeff Teague, who, again, like I said, this is their first introduction to Charleston White. And to hear him say that about somebody that they might like, they might have become a fan of the WNBA. And this is their first introduction to him saying something like this, again, that can derail your podcast. So hopefully, Jeff Teague and all of them are able to continue the Club 520 podcast without any hiccups, or without any major hiccups. This is definitely a hiccup. This is a bump in the road for sure. But hopefully people are able to overlook Charleston and they can start to vet these people and maybe not give them alcohol, especially if he's got alcohol in that drink, if you want to, be mainstream. But anyway, I appreciate y'all watching the vid. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm going to bring out some more content as soon as possible. Happy New Year to you all. Enjoy your week and go from there. All right. Y'all have a good one. Peace.